dreams and you can fast track his.
Mubuyu Christian Academy is a girls-only boarding school located near Sandy Beach in Siavonga. Mubuyu Christian Academy is now enrolling for Form 1 and Grade 10 pupils. So all girls who have just completed their Grade 7 and Grade 9 exams must take this opportunity to receive high-performance Christian-based holistic education. Help your girl child reach their full potential. Call 0976 386184. When you think girl child education, think Mubuyu Christian Academy. Mubuyu Christian Academy, excellence through Christian education.
First December 2025. Good evening, welcome to the news as we celebrate or commemorate World AIDS Day. The headlines. President HICHILEMA calls for completion of the Constitution Amendment process. OASIS Forum withdraws from Constitution Reform Dialogue. Constitutional lawyer takes Speaker to court over decision to declare CHAWAMA seat vacant. 100 million KWACHA injected to boost infrastructure and tourism sites. UTHI clinic superintendent optimistic of corruption-free zone. My name is Kondwelani, and here is the detail. President Hakainde Hichilema says the constitutional amendment process must be allowed to reach its conclusion with all reports submitted before final decisions are made. Addressing civil society groups, church bodies, and student union leaders at State House this afternoon, President Hichilema said he is duty-bound to engage both supporters and opponents of the reforms even after one faction pulled out of the dialogue. His comments follow last week's meeting with the OASIS Forum, which walked away from the talks after failing to reach common ground on the amendment process.
People like you also to be heard. Then I even suggested, after people like you are heard, can we now have one room? You who have issues against and those who have issues for. Unfortunately, maybe that's a mistake I made, and immediately a letter came, discontinue this or we are not available. But I actually think that is valuable to exchange differences of opinion without anyone threatening anybody. And you know, because then we still shake hands. We still remain friends, but the country, the technical committee was or is ready to deliver its report. Let's allow them to complete what we asked them to do. Let's be patient. One of the things I've learned over time myself is patience, to have a big chest. Even when provocation is flying left, right, center, I always say to my cabinet colleagues when we're faced with difficult issues, say, relax, stay calm, then we can think through things properly. So let's allow them to complete their process, they hand over the report, and I want to assure you that the report will go to where it should go. There's only one place it should go.
The OASIS Forum has withdrawn from the constitutional reform dialogue, accusing the government of pushing ahead with what it calls an illegal and flawed process anchored on Bill number 7. In a letter delivered to government, the forum says continued dialogue is impossible, citing unresolved concerns, including a constitutional court ruling that Bill 7 was initiated illegally without broad public consultation. It has also pointed to the lack of a legal framework to guarantee the independence of the technical committee, and also cited government-imposed terms of reference that limit citizens to the same issues in the nullified bill. After meetings with both officials and the president, the forum says the discussions yielded nothing, with government insisting on proceeding. The OASIS Forum says it will only return to the table if Bill 7 is formally withdrawn and a fresh, inclusive and legally sound process is launched. It's now calling on Zambians to stand up and join its campaign against Bill 7, promising to use every legal avenue, including international engagement, to stop what it describes as a threat to the country's democratic foundations.
The dialogue on the constitutional reforms has failed. The OASIS Forum regrets to inform the public that it decided to pull out of the dialogue on the constitutional amendment process when it became clear that the government was adamant on its position to continue with an illegality. Our dialogue, including the meeting with the president, has yielded nothing. The government remains bent on proceeding with the current illegal and flawed process and has refused to withdraw Bill number 7 from Parliament formally. We reaffirm our non-negotiable preconditions for any meaningful dialogue. 1. Bill number 7 must be formally withdrawn from Parliament. 2. A fresh constitutional reforms process must be commenced, supported by legal safeguards, and be genuinely inclusive, not rushed, and holistic. Should this be attended to by government, we remain available to return to the dialogue table. We urge the government of the Republic of Zambia to withdraw Bill number 7 immediately and commence a legitimate, transparent, and people-driven constitutional reform process where amendments will be framed by the owners and not by the government.
Constitutional lawyer Tresford Charlie has taken Attorney General Mulilo Kabesha to the Constitutional Court, challenging the Speaker of the National Assembly, Ms. Nelly Muti's decision to declare the CHAWAMA parliamentary seat vacant. In an urgent petition filed today, Mr. Charlie is asking the court to overturn the Speaker's ruling delivered last Friday and to grant interim relief while the case is being heard. He urges that the Speaker acted outside the law, claiming her decision violates Article 72(2)(c) of the Constitution, which requires that misconduct triggering loss of a parliamentary seat must be defined in an Act of Parliament, not in standing orders. He further cites Article 266, insisting that prescribed matters must be set in legislation, whereas standing orders are only internal parliamentary procedures. Mr. Charlie is seeking several remedies, including a declaration that the Speaker's ruling is null and void and a stay to halt its effect until the petition is fully resolved. Meanwhile, the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, has received a letter from the National Assembly notifying the Commission of a vacancy in the CHAWAMA parliamentary seat. ECZ Chief Electoral Officer Brown Kasaro confirmed the development, adding that the letter was received on Friday, November 28, 2025. Mr. Kasaro said the Commission will provide guidance on the way forward. CHIPATA Diocese Auxiliary Bishop Gabriel Msipu Piri has commended President Hakainde Hichilema for consistently promoting peace, unity and love in the country. Speaking during the Silver Jubilee celebrations in honor of George Lungu, who has served the CHIPATA Diocese for 40 years, Bishop Piri underscored the importance of fostering harmony and goodwill among citizens. He urged political leaders, both the government and the opposition, to embrace dialogue and prioritize national cohesion as the country heads towards the 2026 general elections. Bishop Piri further stressed that leaders must place national development and the welfare of citizens above political rivalry. Expressing concern over recent incidents of violence in some parts of the country, he encouraged young people to engage positively in governance and refuse to be used as tools of political violence. He also called for love, tolerance, and meaningful collaboration among all political actors, noting that sustainable development can only thrive in an environment grounded in peace, respect, and shared purpose. Bishop Piri thanked Eastern Province Minister Honorable Peter Piri and Honorable Ruben Mtolo for representing the government at the event, describing their presence as a reflection of the continued cooperation between the church and the state.
Kumanchongolelo cha Mulungu sititiraza kutogolo zikomo kwambiri zikomo kwakula boma amene muli pano lenanso oyimirira zipani za ndale zosiyana-siyana m'malo mwa Ambuye tilupempha umodzi mgwirizano pakati pano zomwe zinachitika kuchingola kapena usagwirizana komwe kuli pakati pano. Please tiyesetse usungabata ni mtendere. Tikhale vanthu okondana, tikhale vanthu ogwirizana, kapena ni ndale yomwe tiluchita ikhale yobweretsa umodzi. Pepani ndithu kapena ni zilipolowe sizothandiza yayi. Kumenyana, utukwanana sizothandiza yayi. Komanso osagwiritsa ntchito achinyamata vena ali pano kuti azipita m'ma-streets mwina kutukwana, mwina umenyana, chifukwa chakuti mwina mwapatsa mowa, mwina mwatuntha kuti iwo azichita zinthu zosayenera. Tilupempha tisunge bata ni mtendere omwe takhala nawo pa zaka zambiri kuchokera 1964. Tikufunirani zabwino ndipo timakupemphererani inu azandale kapenanso boma lolamulira. Zikomo kwambiri.
Tourism Minister Rodney Sikumba says several key tourism sites have been earmarked for construction and beautification following the ministry's receipt of a substantial 100 million KWACHA funding package from the World Bank. Among the sites set to benefit are Kasaba Bay, Liuwa National Park, the Lower Zambezi, and other priority destinations. Speaking during the Tourism Excellence Award held in Lusaka last evening, Mr. Sikumba noted that government is encouraged by the significant rise in tourist arrivals recorded between 2023 and 2024, adding that the positive growth trend continues. He further revealed that Zambia recently achieved its highest ever performance in business tourism within a single month, an accomplishment that has positioned the country to secure a major international hosting bid. Meanwhile, the Zambia Tourism Board chairperson has urged authorities to urgently tackle the persistent mosquito problem in Livingstone, warning that it undermines the destination's overall appeal. The chairperson also called for swift resolution of any conflicts among stakeholders and the Tourism Council of Zambia, emphasizing that stronger collaboration and partnerships are essential if the tourism sector is to reach greater heights. The Ministry of Energy has released an update on the country's ongoing energy generation projects, providing clarity on the progress being made to improve electricity supply and address public concerns. The current project pipeline spans several key areas, including green city development, rooftop solar installations, large-scale renewable energy projects, and thermal coal-based power initiatives. According to the Minister of Energy, Honorable Makozo Chikote, a total of 347 megawatts of new power generation capacity has been successfully completed to date. Among the notable achievements are the 100-megawatt Chisamba solar PV project, the 25-megawatt Mailo solar PV plant in Serenge, and multiple installations under the net metering initiative, collectively contributing 14.7 megawatts to the national grid. These projects mark significant milestones in the country's push toward a more diverse and resilient energy mix. The minister emphasized that these investments form part of a long-term strategy to stabilize electricity supply, expand generation capacity, and enhance energy security across the country. As more interventions continue to be pursued in both renewable and thermal energy, the country can expect gradual but impactful impacts in national power availability over the coming years.
I wish to update the nation on the status of Zambia's energy project pipeline. The Ministry of Energy wishes to update the nation on the progress of Zambia's energy generation projects and address public concerns regarding electricity supply. The current project pipelines includes Green City Initiative, rooftop solar projects, utility-scale renewable, and thermal power plants. So far, 347 megawatts of new generation has been completed. Notable among these are the Chisamba 100 megawatts solar PV project, 25 megawatts Mailo solar PV plant in Serenge, and various projects under the net metering initiative with a total capacity of 14.7 megawatts. Furthermore, 29 public under ZESCO and private sector-led pipeline projects are currently under construction with a total capacity of 2,510 megawatts to be commissioned within 2025 and 2026, including ZESCO Mansa Solar PV 50 megawatts, Mamba Phase 2 300 megawatts, CEC Intipi 2 136 megawatts, among others. The power generation projects completed, 347 megawatts completed and commissioned. 2 power generation projects under construction, 2,510 megawatts, which is under construction. Net metering initiative, 14.7 megawatts achieved. Transmission line projects, 7 projects under construction. A detailed list of pipeline projects expected to be commissioned in 2025 and 2026 is available and has been uploaded on the Ministry of Energy website, www.mou.
The United Party for National Development, UPND, has accused the OASIS Forum of attempting to run the country by allegedly holding government to ransom over ongoing constitutional reforms. Speaking at a media briefing in Osaka on Monday morning, UPND Media Director MUVI says that no country is governed by civil society organization, stating that civil society should play an advisory role rather than trying to dictate terms. Mr. Simue emphasized that the groups participating in national dialogue should do so with an open mind rather than pushing predetermined positions. He warned that some organizations are joining the process with fixed agendas and willing to consider alternative views. Meanwhile, Mr. Simue disclosed that submissions received so far reflect significant progress and support toward the ongoing constitutional reforms. He cautioned that maintaining the current constitution risks creating conditions that could allow for perpetual leadership, posing a threat to peace and democratic institution. The UPND media director warned citizens, particularly those in remote areas, against being misled by individuals and groups seeking to block progress on Bill number 7, part of the constitutional amendment process.
The remedy to a bad constitution is the amendments. So there's nothing to fear. At the end of the day, a body that creates checks and balances would determine. It's not UPND that makes the constitution. The legislature is the one that is mandated under Article 82 of the Constitution of Zambia to legislate. Where did they derive the power? From the people of Zambia under Article 61. Legislative powers derived from the people, exercised through the elected leaders, given the mandate by the people to legislate in Article 62. So it's not an issue of fear. It's an issue of saying, what argument do you have for us not to proceed? They have no argument. The argument they are proceeding with is a constitution. They are saying the timing is poor. That's a constitution. Because the constitution allows us to amend. I have told you, with or without OASIS, it will land in parliament. That's the implication. So, the idea of the president extending an olive branch is that they should have taken advantage to debate the content. All he wants is demonstrate to us what is wrong with the content. They don't want to debate the content. They are saying, we just want you to withdraw. What kind of thinking is that? When they were given an opportunity to make submissions, they refused. Why do they want to come back? Because in lawmaking, you listen to each other's debates. You can't come up with a fixed position. At the same time, there is no law that says CSOs like OASIS Forum should make the constitution. Not one. And it's not true that whatever they say is correct. That's not correct. And what others say is wrong. And vice versa. So then what's the principle? We must agree to disagree. Taking into consideration the provisions in Bill 7, which are statute bound, which are a must, whether you like it or not, the limitation requires an amendment. It's not negotiable. Make a constitution knowing that tomorrow you will not be there and the same constitution will govern you. I recall when our colleagues were enacting the Cyber Security and Cybercrime Act. We told them, today they are being nabbed before this amendment was done, the repeal. They were nabbed using their document. They started saying there is no democracy. Because they thought that they were going to remain in perpetuity with the leadership. So we call on the Zambian people to again direct their mind to the document so that they are not deceived. Many of our brothers and sisters that are able to explain in local language and the media itself, please help citizens. It is not right for us to allow people who come to deceive on our radio station and TV stations. You are even seated listening as a moderator. A person is deceiving citizens that this is same as Bill 10.
Luapula Province Permanent Secretary Mrs. Prudence Chinama Kangwa has called for enhanced regulation of gaming and online betting to protect communities from raising social and economic risks. Ms. Chinama Kangwa was speaking in Mansa this morning when a delegation from the Ministry of Finance and National Planning's Department of Economic Development, led by senior economist Thompson Mwewa, paid a courtesy call ahead of stakeholder consultations on the draft lotteries and gaming bill. The permanent secretary said government is concerned about the rapid spread of gaming outlets, some of which operate without proper oversight. Ms. Chinama Kangwa also noted reports of underage children accessing gaming facilities, with machines being widely accessed without regard for community safety. Earlier, senior economist Mr. Thompson Mwewa said the current laws governing gaming are outdated and do not address modern trends such as online betting. He explained that government is proposing to consolidate 6 separate pieces of legislation into one act and establish the Lotteries and Gaming regulatory authority to strengthen oversight and streamline licensing.
All I can say is that you're welcome. I think in the spirit of one government, it is important that we have checks and balances on these investments that are coming in the country. If they are here to destroy, I think it's not a good thing. Our officers here, I don't know, maybe in Lusaka is better, but here in the rural parts of the country, to find officers even run away from the stations because they gambled all their monies
and borrowed
heavily, and they can't pay back. So we have
committing suicide.
Yes, the numbers are surging. The numbers are surging in suicide because of the gaming. So I'm sure you're going to get the views from here. So as when we get the new recruits, that's one of the issues that we talk about then in there. And maybe on the other side also, instead of working, maybe it's a teacher, it's a nurse, instead of attending to patients, they are busy. So we want these
which we are regulating the gaming and lotteries. So basically what we are trying to achieve is to put the 6 instruments under one act. So you may be aware there was the Gaming and Machines Act, the Tourism, the Pools, the Lotteries Act, and yeah, in total I think there are about 6. So we put them under one, we try to put them under one act. And so how we intend to achieve this is to establish the Lotteries and Gaming Regulated Authority. And so those that were being executed by tourism and also by local government, we bring them together and put them under one act. So then, like I mentioned in my preamble, so from finance perspective, it's mainly to do with the licenses, the fees that come. That's our interest as the treasury, but then we would also want to check with the stakeholders whether this is okay. We might have our perspective maybe one-sided. So we are in the province to consult.
University Teaching Hospital Eye Clinic Senior Superintendent Dr. Sibora Piri said that she remains optimistic of a corrupt-free zone area after the launch of the Integrity Institutional Guidelines Against Corruption. Dr. Piri says the University Teaching Hospital, being the highest referral hospital, remains a pivotal institution to the public, and its reputation in terms of service delivery to the public is key for a healthy nation. She further urged hospital staff to maintain their integrity. Dr. Piri said the launched Integrity Institutional Guidelines will help to improve healthcare delivery for the general public by upholding professionalism in primary healthcare delivery.
As one of the country's highest level referral hospital, the UTHI hospital carries a responsibility not only to provide advanced clinical care, but also to lead in setting standards that guide the practice, training, and research with integrity. Integrity is not merely a buzzword. It is the bedrock of our existence and the embrace of our core values. Today, we are launching 4 critical documents that formalize these commitments. The first one is our institution's Code of Ethics. This will guide the behavior and decision-making of the employees within the hospital as it outlines the expected standards of conduct. The second one is the Gifts and Benefits Guideline. This will help govern the acceptance of offering gifts and benefits to employees to prevent conflict of interests and ensure ethical conduct is upheld. The third one is the Whistleblower Guideline. This will encourage our employees and others to report misconduct, fraud, or safety concerns within our hospital by providing a safe and confidential process of doing so. This will help structure the approach of managing feedback, ensuring complaints are addressed fairly, consistently, and effectively to reach a satisfactory resolution.
Over 20 headmen have protested against Serengeti District Commissioner Paul Masua for threatening Senior Chief Muchinda Kankomba Welala III with treason over a land auditing misunderstanding. Speaking on behalf of village head persons in the area, Senior Headman Kondi Chisenga Mwewa stated that calling for land and mine audits in the chiefdom by the new chief cannot amount to treason. The headman said the chief had instructed them to work closely with the UPND government to deliver development. However, they questioned why they should continue to do so when their leader is being threatened with treason over auditing. Headman Kondi noted that the chiefdom had remained vacant for many years, making it important for the new Chief Mujinda to understand who occupies the land and how it was acquired. He clarified that the chief is not chasing anyone, but is merely promoting compliance with traditional and governmental authority. Headman Kondi acknowledged that some new settlers possess large areas of land without consent, while others have displaced local inhabitants. He emphasized that the chief is mandated to protect the land and its people from exploitation, especially since no land is being created by God. Recently, Senior Chief Muchinda Kankomba Welala III of Serengeti District, Central Province, expressed gratitude to President Hakainde Hichilema for dispatching a fact-finding team to investigate allegations of impropriety.
Ama offices ya pusene no gusa ikalike mfumu panshi chili chilonda kumyewo shesu tatutemenwa iyo ukubepekeshe mfumu ifwe mfumu taichita mfumu nayi kwatensa mbuku cha land auditing kulingana ngechalo chaiko kumona nga abantu bayiza chani nge abasungu ibile itwa farm block bayisa chani ili no bukabilo bwakwishiba ukwishibe fyo bayisa bali abantu one by one. Take batamfya ya imini napolelo kuishiba mwe bantu bandi mwaisa chani no kuisa isanga mno chiefdom. And for sure bambi abasungu tabakwata na consent letter ukufuma kumfumu shwesha aliko kunuma. Echwe mfumu fye ya lefu ID sharp.
Minister of Technology and Science Felix Mutati says the government remains committed to supporting innovations by the youth in food, energy, water security, waste management, and agriculture. Speaking when he addressed winners of the 2025 Pachipanda Innovations in Chongwe District yesterday under the theme Innovations for Tomorrow's Food Security, Energy, and Water Security, Mr. Mutati underscored government's commitment to creating an enabling environment where the youth can showcase their innovations and help solve various challenges occasioned by climate change and energy crisis the country is currently facing. Meanwhile, WWF Country Director Nalucha Ziba said the organization remains ready to help youths with innovations that would help ameliorate the country's challenges and achieve their dream of solving societal problems such as waste management and energy crisis.
Sometimes we kill that dream that is going to create a sustainable solution, a potent and practical solution to dealing with climate change. But because pitching is a difficult challenge, I've seen that the idea is perfect, but when you come to pitch, it's a different art. Let us not kill the dream. Let us not kill the dream. These boys and girls are working very hard, sleepless nights, trying to perfect the solution, trying to make it practical, trying to scale it and make it sustainable, giving a solution for climate change and other things. Let us harvest those solutions. Let us not kill the dream.
The voice of the youth is key in shaping policies, raising awareness, and building a sustainable future. On that note, please allow me to commend the government of the Republic of Zambia for its continued demonstration when it comes to driving policies as well as programs that tend to empower as well as involve youth participation. You will agree that climate change continues to threaten the very existence and it has various effects on Zambia's agriculture sector as well as the energy sector. We have seen with the recent droughts that the country suffered, the erratic rainfall, irregular weather patterns, the dry spells leading to droughts resulting in reduced crop yields, crop failures, as well as decreased food production. And also, we've seen how it has affected the energy sector in terms of the persistent load shedding. Part of the work that we are doing in terms of responding to such as an institution as the WWF is that we have a climate change adaptation program which looks at forest mosaics in agriculture landscapes, an initiative that seeks to support rural communities through organization innovations and technological transfer for climate change adaptation.
HICHIEMA is impressed with how quickly this initiative has grown. HICHIEMA believes that technology plays a key role in addressing environmental challenges and protecting nature. We believe that digital technology and reducing carbon emissions are key to green development. As part of our long-standing pledge of Tech for a Better Planet, HICHIEMA is proactively working to address climate change and protect our planet through technological innovation.
So as today's society stands at these crossroads where innovation around the country's worst energy crisis that threatens these areas that are most needed, we need young out-of-the-box thinkers such as these innovators that are present, even those that may not be present in this room. So Pachimanda continues to work with young people between 18 and 35 years, youth-led SMEs, entrepreneurs, individuals and organizations to work towards sustainable development in participating countries and employees in these sectors who are looking for ways to make their business sustainable.
Government has dispelled claims suggesting that the ongoing review of the Lands Act is intended to grab customary land from traditional leaders. Speaking during a consultative meeting with chiefs in Mansa today, Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources Permanent Secretary Patrick Mucheleka said the allegations alleging in some quarters are unfounded and misleading. Mr. Mucheleka stated that the government's objective is to strengthen land governance, improve efficiency in land allocation and documentation, and enhance tenure security for all citizens, while fully respecting the authority of traditional leaders over customary land. He emphasized that the review of key sections of the Lands Act, including those dealing with land vesting and recognition of customary tenure, is meant to preserve community rights and ensure traditional values are reflected in national land administrational systems. The Permanent Secretary assured the chiefs that government values their role as custodians of ancestral land and is committed to working with them to address challenges such as encroachments, population pressure, and unregulated land conversions. Traditional leaders from across Luapula province attended the meeting, which forms part of nationwide consultations on the amendment of the Lands Act of 1995.
To include your important views as stakeholders in land governance in order to address the challenges being faced currently. Your Royal Highnesses, you have been invited to this important meeting as valued stakeholders in land administration, representing an even larger population of your subjects who have placed their trust and faith in you to contribute to the amendment of the Lands Act for the betterment of this country. Your Royal Highnesses, as you may be aware, my ministry has consulted all stakeholders countrywide. These stakeholders include the academia, civil societies, the private sector, to mention but a few. With regard to consultations with traditional leaders, my ministry has so far consulted all traditional leaders in 8 provinces. These provinces include Eastern Province, Muchinga, Saka Province, Southern Province, Northwestern Province, Copperbelt Province, and now, just yesterday, the day before yesterday, we were in the Northern Province. Today, Your Royal Highnesses, we are privileged to interact with you here in Luapula Province.
We close the bulletin this evening looking at sports where Kawe Warriors beat United 2-0. Kawe Warriors head coach George Chilufya praised Mines United's performance despite his side's 2-0 victory, noting that Mines United are playing good football despite losing to us. He was speaking during his post-match interview following the rescheduled fixture, which had been pushed from Saturday due to heavy rains. The Week 13 encounter brought notable movement on the league table. Nchanga Rangers climbed 2 places to 3rd, Kawe Warriors advanced to 5th on 22 points, and Mtondo Stars rose 2 spots to move out of the relegation zone. In case you missed the headlines earlier on, apologies, there's no picture for that sporting item where Kawe Warriors beat Mines United 2-0. We look at the headlines before we close. President HICHILEMA calls for completion of the Constitution Amendment process. OASIS Forum withdraws from constitutional reform dialogue. Constitutional lawyer takes speaker to court over decision to declare CHAWAMA seat vacant. 100 million KWACHA injected to boost infrastructure and tourism sites. UTHI clinic superintendent optimistic of corruption-free zone. That's it on behalf of the entire news team. My name is Konduelani Jose. Good evening.
For in-service work